plead with our MP. If I set, I stand. When I hear your name and also the wonderful deeds you are doing in our country. As a finance minister and as our MP, we crave your indulgence to support us. Dr. Cassiel Atoforsen, we will be very elated if you come to our aid and help us build Grace Biseco because this is your alma mater and we depend on you to build a strong and noble institution.
Good afternoon, lovely viewers of the globe. I am Jessica Obapa Edu, your host for today's In What Biseco Trends. We have a noble guest in our midst. Due to her prominence, I'll leave her to introduce herself.
Thank you for the opportunity you've given me. I respond to the name Ruby Abayeboa and I'm the head girls prefect for Bisiansi Senior High School.
Well, did you ever had a dream to be the head girls prefect?
Not necessarily, but driven by the problems faced by the student body and some of the ways our predecessors used to maltreat juniors. I took it upon myself that leadership is not about controlling but about rendering services. That inspired me to partake in the election.
How do you feel after being elected?
Okay, I was very elated because I never thought I would become a head girls prefect in this noble great institution.
Being the head girls prefect for about a week now.
That's not a fact. I think it might be a rumor because I don't feel bossy. I treat every individual very equal. I address the boys with prince and address all girls using princesses because I see to it that the more you try to portray or act as a boss lady in the mix of people, that is not going to help you in their respect. But politely addressing them, you are going to gradually win their respect.
So what is your main role as the head girls prefect?
As a head girls prefect, I don't have a specific task. My duty cuts across every problem faced in the school, from the dining hall to the compound, academically, and even in the dormitories.
Well, talking about academics, how do you combine being a leader with your academics?
As for me, from the start, I am interested in studying during midnight than even prep hours because at dawn, the environment is very quiet and then learning makes it very easily. Certain things I study during the day, it finds it easy because to understand, but during the night, it's very simple to get it. So academically, I study in the night and then during the day, I ensure that the deed and expectations is done.
So how can you describe a conflict you handled between two students?
I've witnessed that incident before, a conflict between two students, and I didn't address that issue as a boss lady, but rather I told the student, hey, so husband and wife, what's the reason why you are fighting in this local institution? And the statement was like, she was insulting me because of this, and I also acted this. And I told him that it's not very fair to act strange in the mix of crowd, but it to be in a good way if he reported the issue to a prefect or politely addressed her. And at the end, both of them felt sorry for their act, and I was able to separate the dispute easily because of the way I politely engaged them in the conversation.
Talking about instructions, what do you say when you instruct somebody to do something and then the person doesn't obey?
Okay, talking about that, I mostly instruct people in a polite way, so mostly they used to understand the need for doing that. Though we are all at tender ages, because of the position I'm holding in this noble institution, they give me the maximum respect. And if I assign a duty to an individual and he or she does not do it, there is no need to act very angry. I just try to find someone else to do that and then later talk to the person politely. The need for helping each other to elevate our school.
Well, we've talked about issues you face but how did you feel? What was the morale your people gave to you after winning this election?
For me, I was encouraged mostly by the boys. They pushed me harder to go for the perfect. And when I won, they were like, we know all our problems will be solved. Problems like the tablets, the double chat services, and then also the way the predecessors used to treat them.
So, about our predecessors, who inspired you to become the school prefect?
Actually, none of our predecessors inspired me.
Oh, really? Well, why then?
Yeah, yes, the thing is, some of the prefects were maltreating us. Though we are all equal, we have the same blood, but they treat us as if we are not among humans because they came to school before we did. And that's one thing that made me very sad. Yes.
Talking about maltreatment,
Yeah?
so you mean you became the school prefect to see to it that we won't maltreat the form ones coming?
Exactly, you got a point. Okay, I became a prefect. Yes, a head girls prefect to ensure that all the prefects are going to treat the juniors equally as they treat themselves and they'll treat their younger siblings. I'm going to ensure that they give the maximum respect to the seniors, even if they treat them as equal. They should get to know that everything has boundaries and they will not cross their limits.
What are you going to do when you see your fellow colleague punishing a junior? Because when we also came to school, we also went through the same thing.
There is one statement in account that I'm very interested in. It says, "Yade yauna anya da menjai wo fire."
Like how? Because we went through same, and then it is our turn, and then you are.
Okay, I understand the situation. Myself, I'm an evidence to that. I was given brush and Pepsodent to use to scrub the floor. Yes, because I refused to move to the dining hall on time. But the thing is, when they maltreated us, we felt sad. Emotionally, they treated us as if we weren't human.
Oh.
So, will you also like to treat the others as the same? What legacy are you willing to leave for the juniors? So, if they come and we don't maltreat them, they are also not going to maltreat the others. And that legacy of maltreatment in senior high school is going to abandon.
Well, that was a nice speech.
Thank you
So,
for that.
talking about legacy, what legacy do you want to leave before you go?
The legacy I want to leave is to see all students live in unity and love and then also excel academically, especially from henceforth. Our WASI grades are going to come out with flying colors so that students are going to be encouraged to do more in their academics. Seeing as past, they'll also be inspired by our grades to embed more effort academically and excel as we did.
Flying colors.
Flying colors.
Well, our brains are divided. So, how are you going to cope academia with leadership?
Yeah, that's one important and relevant question you've asked. Academically, I have my own way of studying. I'm not interested in staying during the day. I find interest in at dawn or in the night. So on campus, I make sure I portray the expectations of the authorities as a head girl's prefect. And in the dormitories indoors, I'm interested in learning while no one is around. So at that juncture, I keep it to myself. I'm not going to make the leadership affect my academical excellence in no way. So I'm going to set to it that I study to the topmost level or to the large blood droplets in my systems fell off. I'm not going to stop studying, so that I'm going to cope with those friends who did not partake in professorship.
You spoke emphatically about academics. So, what grade are you expecting?
I'm expecting I'll get at least a single number, or even if double they get 12, it's okay for me.
So, that's your range.
Yes, please.
Okay, you've been a prefect for about 2 weeks now. What do you think you've noticed about the student body? So, what are we facing that you think you can do in your power to help?
One problem I've noticed is academically, which is one of the major things every school inspires to do, is to train youths to academically become self-dependent. The problem now is our tablets. Our new curriculum systems, we can't study based on textbooks only, but we need to do a lot of research. Whilst the computer lab is not that conducive to do that because of the number of students we are having on campus. Our tablets, though certain students use them badly, majority of the students also use it to achieve their future aims such as researching, assisting in doing of project works and also learning ahead of the teacher. So now that their tablets are not yet distributed back to the students, that is going to cause a drastic fall in academics if students does not embed more effort in their studies.
For this noble position, when you're given the chance to change one policy in the school, what would that be?
Okay, I'm going to say I'm going to create an envision environment that epitomizes stress-free learning area, especially on Sundays. Students come to morning church service, denominational church service, morning preps plus evening preps. That is a big burden for students, and when I became a prefect, a lot of students are complaining about that because if they come to the morning service, not too long, the siren will just scream for private status. Coming for that, not soon we move to denominational church service and also evening preps. They do not get a little time to even rest their heads. And as the saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You can sometimes see students sitting in the prepping room with open books, but their minds are not basically on their academics because they are stressed out. Yes.
We've talked about academia enough.
Okay.
About food. Well, last time I heard a rumor there were misunderstanding in the dining hall. What are you doing in your power to solve all those problems and then help us to meet our expectation concerning the food?
Sometimes there are misunderstandings between the dining hall prefects and the students' bodies at the dining hall. What brings those misunderstandings is that during certain foods, majority of the students does not move to the dining hall, and then the foods end up getting waste. By the day, they'll prefer a little or foods that match the number of students that comes to the dining hall. You see students from nowhere coming like rain dropping from the atmosphere to the dining hall, and that brings pressures on the dining hall prefect and even surprise those that are preparing the food. So in such situations, the DHP renders service to those that comes to the dining hall frequently than those that comes to the dining hall on daily basis or because of specific foods. Yes, I'm going to urge them to do their possible best to ensure that there is ethics and they will not go against the rules. They'll live to match our target to help build Biseco to an unprecedented height of excellence.
We all have been here for about 2 years now. What are some of the infrastructures you think we need and then you appeal to the government?
First of all, plead with the government to come and help us with our library facilities. The library is not that huge to, let me say, help all of the students, but it get studies on time. Also, tracking to the assemble hall, we have a very big problem over there because in other schools you can see there are very nice assemble hall. The assembles and also social gatherings are conducted over there. But in my institution, Great Biseco, we don't have an assembly hall, and we will plead with the government to see to it that something is done with that. We will get a very nice and conducive assembly hall because we are their future leaders. So in our dormitories, the beds there are not enough. You end up seeing some of the students sleeping on the floor, which that makes them very stressful. So we will plead with the government to build more dormitories and then also bring more infrastructures. Every individual that can help, because there is a saying that the nation is not for one individual, but the nation is a home for us all. So they should come with their support and help us build our noble institution.
So, what are your last words you are going to give to both our viewers and the student body?
Don't just be viewing our videos. You can see our young journalists around. You can see that they have a dream to become, let me say, one of the topmost and popular journalists in future. So with your support, financially, bringing of gifts, your words of encouragement, and also your financial support for the school, we are going to make sure we produce more beneficial students to help build our citizen in the absence of our leaders. And as the students, we plead with you to collaborate and then associate with the leaders.
About dreams and career, what do you wish to be? As you've mentioned so many prominent people, after school, what do you wish to be?
To become a lawyer and a journalist as well. I am interested in studying more foreign languages because I don't want to be just a native um journalist, but a continental journalist that can interpret all languages across the globe.
That was our noble head girl, Prefect Ruby Abayebua. Well, thank you for staying tuned up to this time. I've been your host, Jessica Obapa Edu. You can still follow us on TikTok, Facebook. Remember, it is Biseco Media Club.